Touch my wife, and I'll mail pieces of you to your mother over the year.
Silence permeated through the air as Nanya's laughter died in her throat. The man at the hotel bar had been staring for 10 minutes, his gaze crawling over her skin like insects. She shifted on her stool, suddenly aware of how alone she was in the Busan hotel lobby, waiting for Seo-jun to return from parking their car. Beautiful women shouldn't drink alone, the stranger slurred, moving closer. His breath reeked of soju as his hand reached for her thigh. Before his fingers could make contact, another hand caught his wrist, crushing it with enough force to make bones creak. Seo-jun materialized from the shadows like death itself, his grip tightening until the crack of the man's bones could be heard. Touch my wife.
Touch my wife.
Seo-jun's voice was silk over steel, each word carefully measured. And I'll mail pieces of you to your mother over the next year. The stranger's face drained of color. He stumbled backward, nearly tripping over his own feet as he ran, leaving his drink behind in his terror. The entire hotel lobby had gone silent. Guests and staff frozen in place, watching the infamous Kang Seo-jun stake his claim. Nanja pressed her hands to her burning cheeks, caught between embarrassment and that familiar flutter in her stomach that only Seo-jun could cause. You can't keep doing that. You'll scare people, she whispered. But her protest was weak. Watch me, he said and brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. His touch impossibly gentle, a stark contrast to the violence from seconds before. Every man who looks at you wrong, every threat that comes near you, I'll handle them all. Seo-jun, no arguments. His thumb traced her jawline, the caress making her shiver. Not about your safety. Never about that. If you're already hooked on this overprotective romance, smash that subscribe button because this story's about to get intensely romantic and dangerously addictive. For those just joining us, welcome to part 2 of Nanya and Seo-jun's explosive love story. In part 1, we witnessed the impossible. A Nigerian orphan married to a Korean syndicate prince for business, who discovered their marriage was never fake at all. They brought down the entire shadow syndicate from within, exposed 10 years of trafficking and corruption, and somehow found love in the ashes of violence. But if you think dismantling a criminal empire means their troubles are over, you clearly don't know how the underworld works. Because when you create a power vacuum in the criminal world, something always rushes to fill it. 6 months had passed since that bloody night in Seoul. 6 months since Seo-jun had chosen her over his birthright, since they'd testified against his own father, since they disappeared to Busan to build something resembling a normal life. The prosecutors had given them new identities, protection, and a chance to start fresh. But old habits die hard, and Seo-jun still checked every lock 3 times, still kept weapons hidden throughout their penthouse apartment, still watched her like she might vanish if he blinked. This morning was supposed to be peaceful. Nanya woke to the sound of aggressive clanging from the kitchen and the distinct smell of something burning. She padded out in one of Seo-jun's oversized shirts to find her husband glaring at a pan of what might have once been eggs, now resembling charcoal. "You're burning the eggs again," she laughed from the doorway, taking in the sight of the former mafia prince defeated by breakfast. "These eggs are defective." He turned off the stove with more force than necessary, his jaw clenched in the same way it did when interrogating suspects. Or maybe my big bad mafia prince never learned to cook? She moved behind him, arms wrapping around his waist, feeling the tension in his muscles relax at her touch. "Former mafia boss," he corrected, turning in her arms to face her. "Now I'm just your regular, everyday husband who happens to know 17 ways to kill someone with a spatula." Romantic. But she was smiling as he lifted her onto the counter with effortless strength, stepping between her legs.
You knew what you were getting.
What you were getting. His lips brushed her neck, making her shiver as his hands settled on her waist. A man who can't cook but can take down 5 assassins blindfolded? 6, he corrected against her skin. It was 6 assassins. The media always gets it wrong. Their playful moment shattered when Nanya's phone buzzed on the counter. She reached for it, but Seo Jun was faster, his entire body tensing as he read the message. She watched his expression transform, the soft husband disappearing, replaced by the dangerous man who'd once commanded Seoul's underworld. What does it say? She tried to look, but he held the phone away from her reach. Nothing important. Liar. She knew that look too well. Jaw clenched, eyes darkening to obsidian, the muscle in his neck that only jumped when he was contemplating violence. Show me, Seo Jun. Reluctantly, he turned the screen toward her. 5 words in Korean that made her blood run cold. You're not safe in Busan. The message came from an unknown number, but attached was something worse. A photo of her at the coffee shop yesterday, taken from across the street. She'd been alone, Seo Jun, at a meeting with their protection officers. Someone had been watching her. It's probably nothing, she started. But Seo Jun was already moving, checking windows, pulling curtains shut, his hand reaching for the gun he kept hidden beneath the kitchen island. Pack a bag.
Pack a bag.
He ordered, already texting someone on his phone. What? No. We can't keep running every time. He caged her against the counter, his intensity making her breath catch. Listen to me very carefully, Nanya. I just got you. Do you understand that? After 20 years of wanting you, 10 years of denying it, and 3 years of that hellish marriage where we danced around the truth, I finally have you. And I'll burn down the entire country before I let anyone take you from me. No one's taking me anywhere. She cupped his face, feeling the tension in his jaw, the barely controlled fear beneath his anger. We killed the syndicate. We earned our freedom. The syndicate had rules, structure. What we have now is chaos, and chaos breeds opportunists. His phone buzzed again. Another message, this time with her location from an hour ago. Someone's been following you. Then we find out who, she said firmly. Together. 3 days of investigation led them to a name. Kim Ji-hoon. Seo Jun's contacts in Seoul painted a disturbing picture. Ji-hoon had been a middle manager in the syndicate, someone who'd operated in the shadows, never important enough to warrant attention. But when the syndicate fell, he'd seen opportunity. While the major players were arrested or killed, Ji-hoon had quietly absorbed the scattered remains, the abandoned warehouses, the forgotten contacts, the hidden weapon caches. He blamed Seo Jun and Nanya for destroying the order he'd thrived in, for taking away the structure that had made him rich. He's nothing, Seo Jun's informant had said over encrypted phone. A scavenger picking at corpses. But scavengers could be dangerous when cornered, and Ji-hoon had been recruiting. Every thug, every discharged soldier, every criminal with a grudge against the couple who'd brought down the syndicate. They all found their way to him. The Busan street market was chaos incarnate. Vendors shouting prices, tourists haggling badly in broken Korean, the smell of grilled squid mixing with ocean salt. Nanya loved it, the normalcy of it all, the way she could pretend to be just another woman shopping with her husband. Seo Jun hated it. Too many variables, too many blind spots, too many potential threats. Would you relax? She linked her arm through his, feeling him scan the crowd over her head. We're just shopping for dinner. I don't relax, I strategize. But he pulled her closer when a group of men walked by, his body shifting to put himself between them and her. "You're impossible." She leaned into him, secretly loving how his arm tightened protectively, how he steered her away from corners where someone could hide. They were examining fruit, Nanya haggling with an elderly vendor while Seo Jun watched with amusement when she felt it. Eyes on her. Not the appreciative glances she'd grown used to, but something darker, more focused. She turned, catching sight of a man in black disappearing into the crowd, but not before she recognized him from the coffee shop photo background. Seo Jun. The screech of tires cut through the market noise. A black sedan jumped the curb, engine roaring, heading straight for where she stood. Time slowed. She saw Seo Jun's eyes widen, saw him move with inhuman speed. In one fluid motion, he swept her into his arms, diving behind a vendor stall as the vehicle crashed into the fruit stand where she'd been standing. Oranges exploded in all directions, screams filling the air. "Are you hurt?" His hands ran over her frantically, checking for injuries, even as debris rained down around them. "I'm fine."
I'm okay.
Are you
Hey,
hurt?
I'm okay.
Each word came out sharp, desperate, his eyes wild with fear she'd never seen before. "No, I'm okay." She touched his face, feeling him tremble beneath her fingers. "Hey, I'm okay." He crushed her against his chest, his heart hammering against her ear. She could feel him shaking, this man who'd faced down armies without flinching, coming apart at the thought of losing her. "I can't lose you," he whispered into her hair.
I can't
Do you
lose you.
understand?
Do you understand?
I physically
I
cannot.
physically cannot.
You won't. She pulled back, seeing the raw fear in his eyes, the vulnerability he only ever showed her. "But we need to find out who's doing this. And don't tell me you don't know." His expression darkened, the fear transforming into something lethal. "Kim Ji-hoon. He's been consolidating power since the syndicate fell. My contacts say he blames us for the power vacuum. Then we deal with him. We don't do anything. I handle this. Like hell." He cut her off with a kiss right there in the destroyed market with sirens approaching and people recording on their phones. His hand tangled in her hair, holding her close like she might disappear. When he pulled back, she was breathless. "That's not fair," she gasped. "You can't just kiss me to win arguments." "I absolutely can and will." But his thumb was gentle as it traced her bottom lip. "Please, Nanya. Let me protect you. We protect each other. That's what marriage means." The police arrived, followed by their protection detail who'd been mysteriously delayed by a traffic accident 3 blocks away, clearly orchestrated. As they gave statements, Seo Jun never let go of her hand, his thumb rubbing circles on her palm whenever she tensed. That night, they relocated to a more secure hotel, one of Seo Jun's old safe houses converted to legitimate business. He'd spent hours on the phone, calling in old favors, activating networks he'd promised to leave behind. Nanya watched him pace like a caged predator, switching between Korean, Japanese, and Mandarin as he gathered intelligence. "Ji-hoon's getting bold," he said finally, ending his last call. "He's gathered about 30 men, mostly syndicate leftovers who blame us for their unemployment. 30 men for 2 people seems excessive. Not if one of them is me." There was no arrogance in his tone, just fact. "But that's not what worries me." "What does?" "He's been asking about you specifically. Your routines, your preferences, where you're weakest." His knuckles cracked as he clenched his fists. "He wants to take you to get to me. Then we make sure he can't." 3 days later, Nanya was alone in their hotel suite. Seo Jun had gone to meet an informant who claimed to have Ji-hoon's location. When she heard it, a soft scratching at the lock, professional but not professional enough, She'd been trained by the best, after all. She grabbed the kitchen knife, pressing herself against the wall beside the door. Her heart raced, but her hands were steady. The door opened slowly, revealing a man in tactical gear, gun drawn. "Mrs. Kang," he called out in accented Korean. "Ji-hoon wants to talk. Come quietly and no one gets hurt. Tell Ji-hoon to go to hell." The man spun toward her voice, but she was already moving. The knife flew from her hand with practiced precision, embedding in his shoulder exactly where Seo-jun had taught her. Painful, debilitating, but not fatal. The intruder screamed, dropping his gun. She kicked it away, then grabbed the lamp from the side table. "You crazy!" The door exploded inward, wood splintering. Seo-jun stood in the doorway like an avenging angel, taking in the scene in milliseconds. The intruder bleeding, the knife, Nanya's defensive stance with the lamp. His expression shifted from worried to proud to absolutely murderous. "You touched my wife's door,"
You
he said
touched my wife's
conversationally,
door.
advancing on the wounded man who was trying to crawl backward. "That was your
That was
first
your
mistake.
first mistake.
I didn't touch her. You broke into her space. That was your second mistake." He cracked his wrists as he advanced like a predator. "You made her feel
Made
unsafe.
her feel unsafe.
That's your third mistake."
That's enough for
Seo-jun
me.
grabbed the man by the throat, lifting him with one hand. "That's enough for me." "Seo-jun, we need information." "I'll get it, baby." His grip tightened until the man's face turned purple. "Where's Ji-hoon?" The man gasped out an address, an abandoned warehouse by the docks, because it was always an abandoned warehouse. Seo-jun dropped him, letting him crumple to the floor, then turned to Nanya. His entire demeanor shifted, the violence evaporating as he moved to her. "Are you hurt, baby?" His hands cupped her face, thumbs stroking her cheekbones. "No, but..." He pulled her into his arms, one hand cradling her head, the other pressed against her spine like he was trying to absorb her into himself. "You threw a knife at him. You taught me. I know, but seeing you..." He pulled back, searching her eyes. "You're amazing. Terrifying, but amazing.
I
I learned from the best." Nanya smiled. Seo-jun exhaled. "Don't ever scare me like that again. Then don't leave me alone again. Deal?" He kissed her forehead, then her nose, then her lips. Soft, reverent touches that made her melt against him. "We end this tonight. Are you liking this story? Subscribe now because the warehouse confrontation is about to get intensely romantic and dangerously explosive. The abandoned warehouse felt like déjà vu from 6 months ago. Rain pounding on metal roofs, shadows dancing between shipping containers, the smell of rust and salt from the nearby ocean. But this time was different. This time, Nanya wasn't a victim caught in crossfire. She stood beside Seo-jun as his equal, his partner, wearing tactical gear he'd insisted on and carrying weapons she now knew how to use. "Remember," he murmured as they approached, "Ji-hoon's just a scavenger who got ambitious. He's not syndicate trained, not military. His men are street thugs with guns." "And you're you," she said simply. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I've seen you take down 12 armed professionals with a butter knife and a bad mood. These amateurs don't stand a chance." "It was a steak knife," he corrected, "and there were only 10. They entered through a side door Seo-jun had scouted earlier. The warehouse was exactly what they'd expected, dimly lit, full of shadows, shipping containers creating a maze. Somewhere in that maze was Ji-hoon. "Kang Seo-jun," a voice echoed from above. "Let's skip the dramatics, shall we?" Lights flooded the space. Ji-hoon stood on a catwalk 20 feet up, flanked by armed men. He was younger than expected, maybe 35. with the hungry look of someone who'd always been second place and resented it. Kim Ji-hoon, Seo-jun called back, sounding almost bored. The man who thinks picking up scraps makes him a king. Scraps? Ji-hoon laughed bitterly. You destroyed an empire and left chaos. Someone had to bring the order back. Your order involves threatening my wife. That was a great mistake. The great Seo-jun, reduced to playing house with his pretty foreign wife. How the mighty fall. Jealousy doesn't suit you, Nanya called up, stepping into view. But then again, you'd need someone to actually want you first to understand what we have. Ji-hoon's face contorted with rage. You think you're special. You're just another pretty thing he collected. When he gets bored. He's had 10 years to get bored. She interrupted. Trust me, if anything, he's gotten worse. Last week he bought an entire restaurant because the waiter smiled at me. It was a suggestive smile. Seo-jun muttered. It was a polite smile. Suggestive? Enough, Ji-hoon roared. Kill them both. Everything happened at once. Gunfire erupted from above. Seo-jun shoved Nanya behind a container as bullets sparked off metal. She pulled out the gun he'd given her, counting shots, waiting for her moment. Stay down, he ordered, already moving.
Stay down!
Not a chance.
Not a chance. I've been
She popped
practicing
up,
at that range
firing
a lot.
3 shots that took down 2 men who'd been advancing on their position. I've been practicing at that range you bought me. This isn't a shooting range. A man rushed them from the left. Without hesitation, Nanya swept his legs, while Seo-jun's elbow connected with his temple. The attacker dropped. They moved in perfect synchronization, covering each other's blind spots like they'd been doing this for years instead of months. Behind you, she shouted. Seo-jun spun, throwing a knife that lodged in an attacker's chest before he could fire. Another man grabbed Nanya from behind, arm around her throat. She heard Seo-jun's roar of rage, primal, terrifying, before the man was literally torn away from her. Seo-jun's hands were around his throat, squeezing. Nobody. He punctuated each word with increasing pressure. Touches my wife. Seo-jun, he's down. But he wasn't listening, lost in protective rage. The careful control he maintained shattered by someone daring to touch her. She recognized this version of him, the one who'd killed for the syndicate, the one everyone feared. But she wasn't afraid. She touched his shoulder gently. Baby, I'm okay. I'm right here. He turned to her, breathing hard, his eyes still wild. His hands immediately went to her throat, checking for bruises. Did he hurt you? No. She wiped blood from his split lip with her thumb. But you're hurt. It's nothing. An engine roared above. They looked up to see Ji-hoon running along the catwalk toward a door. Without thinking, Nanya spotted a motorcycle near the loading dock and ran for it. What are you? Nanya, get back here. But she was already kick-starting the bike, racing after Ji-hoon as he fled toward the roof. She could hear Seo-jun cursing behind her, followed by his running footsteps. The bike roared up the ramp, tires squealing. The chase led to the rooftop parking structure, 5 stories up. Rain hammered down, making everything slick and dangerous. She cornered Ji-hoon at the edge, the city lights of Busan spreading out below them. Nowhere to run, she said, dismounting the bike, gun steady despite the rain. You won't shoot? Ji-hoon smiled, but she could see the fear in his eyes. You're not like your husband. You're not a killer. I read your file. You're an orphanage girl, charity worker, teaching kids. You're right. Nanya lowered the gun slightly. I'm not like him. Ji-hoon relaxed, taking a step forward.
You're right.
I'm
I'm
worse,
not like him. I'm
she said,
worse.
and shot his knee. watching him crumple with a scream. He kills quickly because he's efficient. But me, I prefer knowing you'll spend the next 40 years in prison remembering this moment. Footsteps pounded behind her. Seo-jun skidded to a stop, taking in the scene, Ji-hoon writhing in pain, Nanya standing over him like an avenging goddess in the rain. "You shot him," Seo-jun gasped. Nanya shrugged nonchalantly. "Just his knee. He'll live to see prison." Seo-jun moved to her, rain plastering his hair to his forehead, making him look younger, more vulnerable. "You could have been killed. Racing off like that. Do you have any idea what that did to me? Now you know how I feel every time you throw yourself into danger for me." He grabbed her waist, pulling her against him, rain running down both their faces. "That's different. Why?" "Because I'm expendable. You're not." She slapped him, not hard, just enough to make her point. "Don't you ever say that again. You're not expendable. Not to me." He caught her hand, kissing her palm, rain running over their joined hands. "Nanya, no. Listen to me, Kang Seo-jun.
You are not allowed to die for me.
You are not allowed to die for me.
You're required to live for me.
You're required to live for me. With me. Understood?" His answer was to kiss her. In the rain, deep and desperate, one hand tangled in her wet hair, the other pressed against her lower back. Thunder crashed overhead as he kissed her like she was air, and he'd been drowning. When they broke apart, he pressed his forehead to hers, rain running down their faces, mixing with what might have been tears. "Understood," he whispered. "But if anyone else tries to hurt you, you'll destroy them, I know." She smiled, touching his face. "It's actually pretty romantic, in a twisted way." "You're twisted. We're a perfect match then." Police sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Ji-hoon groaned at their feet, trying to crawl away. Seo-jun put his foot on the man's back, stopping him without looking away from Nanya. 23, he said suddenly. "What?" Nanya asked. "The restaurant wasn't the only thing I bought," Seo-jun said. "I've bought 23 businesses in total. Every place where someone looked at you too long or made you uncomfortable." Seo-jun. "I'm also learning to cook. I've been taking lessons while you sleep." "Is that where you go at 5 a.m.? The instructor is 70 years old and partially deaf, in case you were wondering." "I wasn't. And I may have put a tracker in your wedding ring." "You what?" "And your phone, and your favorite jacket, and that purse you always carry." She kissed him to shut him up, smiling against his lips. "You're impossible. Impossibly in love with you." Drop a comment if you think Seo-jun's protectiveness is romantic or overwhelming. And don't forget to subscribe for part 3. Because that shadow watching them, it's about to change everything. The police arrived, followed by their protection detail and an ambulance for Ji-hoon. As they gave statements, Seo-jun never left Nanya's side, his hand on her lower back, thumb rubbing soothing circles whenever she tensed. The lead detective, familiar with their case from Seoul, just shook his head. "You two are trouble magnets," he said in Korean. "Trouble finds us," Seo-jun corrected. "We just handle it." Back in their hotel suite, a different one, Seo-jun had insisted. He carried her through the door despite her protests that she could walk perfectly fine. "You shot a man, you get carried." "That doesn't even make sense." "My wife, my rules." He set her down gently, immediately checking her for injuries with careful hands. "I'm fine." "You have a scratch. Right here." His finger ghosted over a tiny scrape on her arm. "That's from yesterday. I bumped into the counter." "The counter attacked you?" He was already reaching for the first aid kit. "I'll buy a new one." Nanya laughed out loud. You can't fight furniture, Seo-jun. Watch me. He carefully cleaned the non-wound, his touch so gentle it made her heart ache. Why do you do this?
Why do you do this?
He looked up from his ministrations. Do what?
Do what?
Take care of me like I'm made of glass when we both know I'm not. He was quiet for a moment, focusing on applying an absolutely unnecessary bandage. Because, he finally said, blowing on the scratch to dry it. In my world, you're the only pure thing that exists. The only good thing I've ever had. If something happened to you because I wasn't careful enough, wasn't fast enough, wasn't there? He trailed off, jaw clenching. Hey. She tilted his chin up, making him look at her. I'm not going anywhere. Promise? Promise. You're stuck with me, Mr. Overprotective.
You're stuck with me, Mr.
Good.
Overprotective.
He kissed her, soft and sweet, tasting of rain and promise. Because I just bought this hotel. You what? The owner was rude to you yesterday, so I bought it. He's fired. Seo-jun, you can't just buy buildings because someone was rude. I also bought the restaurant where the waiter flirted with you. That was Tuesday, Nanya gasped. And the boutique where the saleswoman made that comment about your dress. Are you serious right now? Dead serious. He pulled her onto his lap, arms wrapping around her waist. I'm considering buying the entire world, actually. Create a Nanya safe zone. You're insane. About you? Absolutely. She should be annoyed. She should protest the caveman behavior. Instead, she found herself laughing, kissing him between giggles. What am I going to do with you? Love me. He said it like a question, still uncertain after everything they'd been through, still amazed that she'd chosen him. Already do. She kissed him again. Even when you're being impossibly overprotective. Especially then, he corrected, pulling her closer. Especially then, she agreed. They held each other in the quiet suite, rain still pattering against the windows, both of them slowly coming down from the adrenaline high. But as Seo-jun's arms tightened around her, neither of them noticed the figure on the building across the street, watching through a high-powered scope. The man pulled out a satellite phone, dialing a long international number. The call connected after 3 rings. I found them, he said in Russian, his accent thick. Yes, both of them. The son who betrayed the Bratva 10 years ago and his new wife. A pause as someone responded. No, don't move yet. He's different now, weaker. Love has made him vulnerable. Another pause. Trust me, Dmitri. When we take her, he'll give us everything. The accounts he stole, the weapons he redirected, all of it. A man like that, he'll burn the world for love. The line went dead. The shadow disappeared into the night. In the hotel room, Seo-jun suddenly tensed, his instincts prickling. That feeling he'd learned to trust, the one that had kept him alive through a decade of violence. He moved to the window, scanning the buildings, seeing nothing but knowing something was wrong. What is it? Nanya asked, recognizing his shift to alertness. Nothing certain.
Nothing certain.
But he pulled the curtains closed,
Just a feeling.
already making mental plans. More security, different safe houses, maybe leave the country altogether. Just a feeling. You're doing it again, she said softly. That thing where you try to handle everything alone. Old habits. Break them. She stood, taking his hand. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Together, he agreed. But his eyes remained on the window. Because Seo-jun had learned many things in his violent life. He'd learned that power was temporary, that loyalty could be bought, that everyone had a price. But the most important thing he'd learned was this. Love didn't make you weak. It made you dangerous. It gave you something to lose, yes. but also something worth burning the entire world to protect. And if the Bratva, the Russian mafia he'd betrayed a decade ago to save Nanya's father, thought they could touch her, they were about to learn why even devils feared men in love. "Come to bed," Nanya called, already pulling back the covers. "In a minute." He sent a quick text to his remaining contacts, the ones who still owed him favors. 3 words in Russian. Check Bratva movements. Seojun. Coming. He slipped into bed, pulling her against him, memorizing her warmth, her scent, the way she fit perfectly in his arms. "I love you," she murmured, already drifting towards sleep, exhausted from the night's events. "I love you more."
I love you more.
"Impossible." "Want to bet?" He kissed her forehead. "I've got a lifetime to prove it." But as Nanya slept peacefully against his chest, Seojun stayed awake, one hand gentle in her hair, the other gripping the gun beneath his pillow. Because lifetime was a promise he intended to keep, no matter how many bodies he had to leave in his wake to ensure it. His phone buzzed with a response. 2 words that made his blood run cold. "They're here." The war was coming. The past he'd tried to bury was crawling out of its grave. But this time, he wouldn't face it as a syndicate prince or a mafia enforcer. He'd face it as what he'd become: a husband, a protector, a man with everything to lose and the skills to ensure he didn't. If you need to know what happens when the Russian Bratva comes for them, when Seojun's past finally catches up, and Nanya discovers the full truth about why he saved her father 10 years ago, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. Because Part 3 is going to redefine what it means to love dangerously. Comment. Protect if you think Seojun should go full mafia mode to guard Nanya, or together if you think they should face the Bratva as equals. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most dangerous men make the most devoted husbands. And sometimes, love is worth starting a war.